So good day everyone. The slides that I am going to discuss is I provided here in my visual aid. The first topic that I'm going to discuss is the Republic Act 9275 or the Philippine Water Act of 2004. What is Philippine Water Act of 2004? So the primary and the most recent law dealing with water resources and water pollution. So there are other laws that already existed, but this Republic Act 9275 is the most recent, or those repeal laws coming from those previous laws that provided in the recent topic. So the law specifically punishes the following act. Water pollution. This kind of violation especially includes pollution of water body. Section 27 bracket A. So groundwater pollution. Section 27 bracket B. Then chemical dumping. Section 27 bracket F, and the illegal discharge section 27 bracket I. So uh, pollution of body of water. We all know that there are different bodies of water that existed in the Philippine territory, or those waters that are protected by the DNR, especially for those water reserves and water resources, or water reservoir, like freshwater reserves and other types of water reserves. It includes creeks, rivers, lakes, and seas, and even the oceans or streams that are inside in the territory of the Philippines. Uh, it provided that pollution of water in those areas are prohibited. The second one is groundwater pollution. Groundwater pollution, we all know that groundwater are those water reserves or fresh water uh, freshwater underground, or can be found in the underground surface of the earth or under the water. So freshwater reserves uh, are protected by this Republic Act 9275. Identify most of us, or the common freshwater reserves that you all know is that groundwater. So groundwater are those water that are not contaminated with other uh, foreign chemicals or foreign chemicals or materials. Those water can be used for consumption. That is groundwater. Polluting the groundwater is an act of uh, offense in this Republic Act. So next, chemical dumping. Chemical dumping, we all know chemicals are uh, there are variations of chemicals. So there are chemicals that are not harmful, but most chemicals that are being dumped or being uh, waste from factories and other forms of manufacturing industries are most likely hazardous chemicals. Those chemicals are chemicals that can pollute water. So dumping of those kind of uh, either solid or solution chemical are prohibited under this section. Next is illegal discharge. Illegal discharge, we all know that illegal discharge is the also an act of committing an offense prior this Republic Act. Illegal discharge are those wastes that can be manufacturing industries or factories, can be discharged into bodies of water, streams of water, like oceans, seas, rivers, creeks, and other forms of bodies of water. Legal discharge of those solid waste or solution waste from Philippine waters or waters inside the territory of the Philippines are prohibited. So let's move on to the next slide. So green laws enforcement agencies. So the Mines and Geosciences Bureau is the lead DENR unit which handles matters pertaining to geology and mineral resources, exploration, development, and conservation. This slide or these laws or enforcement agencies, the main key or the most reliable uh, agency that or bureau that DNR leads to handles matters about uh, pollution are is the Mines and Geosciences. So Mines and Geosciences handles like uh, mining regulatory acts, and to the geosciences, we all know that their focuses on the geographic part of the area of the uh, Philippine territories. So under this, they also cover the offenses that illegal um, digging of uh, illegal digging of uh, minerals or illegal expedition of gold hunting and whatsoever. So, uh, so they are the unit that which handles matters pertaining to geology and mineral resources. So, uh, by this bureau, they usually utilize their power or executory mandate to prohibits or forbids for those acts that committing illegal mining, illegal treasure hunting, or illegal excavation for exploration of minerals and forms of uh, other forms or other forms of uh, uh, mining activities. So they are focusing to the conservation also and development of natural resources. As we know that in the previous topics, preservation of natural resources is the top priority of these green laws. So uh, we all know that uh, not all of the sources that we can find in the nature is uh, are what we, I mean are are exist forever. So therefore, regulations under this bureau or agency should be followed and abide by the people who are wants to explore our minerals and other protected areas which can be found raw materials for manufacturing. So next agency that uh, we are going to discuss is the National Bureau of Investigation. So Environmental and Wildlife Protection Investigation. So uh, Investigation Division. So NBI or UPID is the acronym of this agency. So what is the main focus of this bureau or agency? So this agency, its role is the establishment and maintenance of the modern, effective, and efficient investigative service and research agency. It investigates service and research agency. It investigates crimes and other offenses against the law, both on its own initiative and as public interest may require. So, this bureau, so we all know that NBI handles cases or uh, major investigation in most high-profile criminals or crimes that are uh, very very offending to the national laws. So, National Bureau of Investigation or NBI includes Environmental and Wildlife Protection and Investigation Division because there are crimes that are covered under this develop under natural protection issues or the wildlife preservation issues that uh, other agencies cannot cover because there are crimes that are connected to sabotage. So its role is the establishment and maintenance of the modern, effective, and efficient investigation. So through their investigation, using modern technologies and investigative plan, uh, they can uh, they can utilize more of those technologies to cover all the crimes that other investigative agency in preservation of the natural resources of the Philippines uh, that cannot handle. So they are the one who conduct investigation for that matter. So let's move on to the uh, quasi-judicial agencies. So the Mines and Adjudication Board or MAB. So disputes involving mine rights fall under the jurisdiction of agency and its panel of arbitrators. So these disputes include the following rights to mining areas, mineral agreement and permits, surface owners, occupants, and claim holders and concessionaries. So these quasi-judicial agencies or the Mines Education Board or MAB. So the main focus of this agency is to deal with the disputes involving mining rights, all under the jurisdiction of the Philippine National uh, Philippine National Natural Reserves or Conservation of Natural Resources. So under this jurisdiction, there are three major areas that they are covering to solve disputes under this quasi-judicial agency. So rights to mining areas. So rights to mining areas, we all know that covering area for mining must have legal documents and other transactions to the government in order to establish the mining area that operation of collecting of minerals and other resources can be followed into legal procedures. So these rights uh, can be applied or be manned or watched by the judicial agencies, quasi-judicial agencies. So mineral agreement and permits. So mineral agreement and permits, as what I have mentioned earlier. So in gathering or collecting minerals from the nature needs an agreement to the government, such as permits. You need to process your permits and they were going to be evaluated by the government first before the mining company or small mining small scale mining will proceed to their operation. So surface owners and occupants and claim holders. So conflicts around these people. So surface owners, occupants, claim holders, and concessionaries are those people who are claiming mining rights to the natural resources of the Philippines. So they need to establish proper rights or claims in that area. So they need to process their papers, name with it with their with their names to the specific areas, occupants and claim holders. So concessionaries are those people handling uh, different areas that they can be disposed to other occupants or surface owners. So they can sell or they can be stood as broker of that area. So why those people are mentioned in these quasi-judicial agencies? So they are mentioned because in mining industry in real world. So there are mining activities that the government cannot be able to cope with or monitor with. So the, uh, there are tendencies that people involving uh, uh, extraction of minerals or exploration of mineral in the natural resources uh, can be caused to conflict. So this quasi-judicial agency uh, resolves the conflict of the people who work in the specifically mining. So with those conflicts, the quasi-judicial agencies will stood as the mediators of that particular problem. So conflicts or havocs between parties will be observed here and uh, must be uh, must be under the proceed of the law in order for them to uh, establish mining rights for the peaceful and uh, very uh, safe mining activities under the supervision of the government. So, any questions, classmates, uh, or some insights that can include to my report? Okay, okay. So, your questions. What those particular person under these quasi-judicial agencies can might be in conflict in terms of rights to mining areas. So, those people uh, actually are those owners who claiming area for mineral expedition or exploration. So uh, those people are let's start to the higher position. So those people are those surface owners. Other term for them is occupants or claim holders. So claim holders, there are several workers that work for them in order for them to expedite or to work faster in that specific area for gathering minerals that they need to extract. So either a conflict is between surface owners, occupants, claim holders, and concessionaries. So the most conflict that involving mining minerals are those the claims, specifically the claim of areas, because there are some concessionaries that are selling or stand as broker of that specific area that cannot provide legal papers or permits in selling that particular area. Most probably, and most issues that concessionaries facing in the mining industry is that they are selling areas who is named to other claim holders, so that conflict will start, and the quasi-judicial agencies will go into the middle to both parties in order for their disputes to be uh, accommodated or legalized. So, if the rights are be certain or be determined, there are other party will claim the legal rights. And then those parties that are claiming for that area that provide the legal permits or documents that giving them the right to operate in the area shall be sanctioned or punished by uh, other punished by our laws under mining act. So that's all. Do you have some questions, mates, or other insights that I can include to my report? So if you have, you can share your ideas. Okay, okay. In illegal discharge. let me clear once again. So illegal discharge, those problems of illegal discharge. So uh, uh, what I've said earlier, so about illegal discharge. So illegal discharge are those waste. We all know that waste from factories and from factories or manufacturing industries, or even in other plantations or other type of manufacturing industries, either indoor or outdoor. Because we all know mining is also uh, processing their uh, their minerals that came from mineral resources, so or in the mining area. So there are waste that can be discharged within the streams. We all know that example mining in outdoor activities that can discharge waste. So most of the waste that can destroy the nature, that the mining company that are being used is the lead. So lead is a chemical that can destroy uh, marine species or other animals that can either drink or live or dwell within the waters. So uh, mountains that are operated with mining companies, uh, there are sometimes that leaks from uh, mining mining solid waste or other soluble wastes or liquid waste can be dumped or discharged in the waters. So the negative effect of that is uh, there are instances that we all know that lead is refining chemical to purify gold. So purifying gold is very crafty work or very dangerous work because lead can kill a human being if it is ingested. So those discharge are example of solid waste or liquid waste discharge. In other factories, normally uh, we can determine their factory discharge because we can able to determine their discharges through uh, their overt activities like building pipes that flows into rivers or water streams, creeks, uh, like those uh, like those areas that are being over industrialized, like for example Cagayan de Oro. So Cagayan de Oro, there are streams of waters that flows to all over the city, uh, waste from mall, uh, houses and other industrial facilities built within that area. So it came to the reality that waste from industrialized areas cannot be regularly uh, discharged or properly discharged or monitored by those government agencies. So by doing that or by doing so, uh, government agencies that regulating that kind of activity punishes or uh, giving them sanctions for their acts of discharging those discharges. So most discharges that they normally pouring into the bodies of water is that uh, their liquid discharges, like those waters coming from their bathrooms, their wash tubs, their basins, and so on and so forth. So that activity uh, causes pollution to the bodies of water, so that the government must be strict about that in implementing regulatory laws to uh, forbids that activities. So that's all. You have some questions, mates? If not, I will end my reporting and thank you for listening.